Hey guys, it's Deb. It has been quite some time since I've done a video in this community. So first of all, I want to welcome all of our new members. I'm so grateful that you are here. For those of you guys who are new to this community who don't know me, my name is Deb Acker. I'm an intuitive life coach and energy healer. And yeah, like in the last couple of months, I've been doing several things, right? One of them being that I've been just taking some time for myself and really going inward. I've been called to go inward, and I've been called to really manage my mindset and really manage how I'm feeling so that I can do the work that I am being called to do to do in the world. I love it. I don't know if you guys have seen this or have gone live on Facebook at all, but it's basically giving me the opportunity to put on a mask, which is kind of the opposite of living in your truth. So what a great opportunity, right? So those of you guys who are new to me, I'm an intuitive life coach. I'm an energy healer. And one of the things that's been interesting, right? So, a lot of the work that I came here to do is really to help people to know that actually going towards your pain, towards your emotions, honoring your imperfections, that is the key to true joy. So many times, people talk about, oh, joy over here, or they're looking outside of themselves for that happiness, for that value, for those answers. And I'm here to tell you that it's the deep inner work and really honoring your pain and recognizing your pain is what helps differentiate you. It's what helps take you to that next level, that is there for your highest good, right? And if you can honor it, it's actually what can help you to create that shift and to stay in joy and to know you can have joy no matter what's occurring in your life. And so today's topic, I want to talk to you guys about criticism and competition and jealousy and reframing those, and also the impact that those pieces in our lives are having on our abundance, really, and how they're related to scarcity. And so one of the things I want to talk about, actually, I'm going to go straight into this example because that'll help me to kind of pull out some of the points that are really, really important here. And so I've been thinking a lot about like criticism and about competition and about jealousy, right? And, especially in our social media heavy world, I think that it's really, really easy and really, really common to, get caught up on, oh, this person's got this or this person's having this. And then, it can be really easy to get sucked into that. And so, one of the things that's been coming up for me, I would say a lot, is the recognition that, whether it's competition, whether it's criticism or judgment, that's a version of scarcity that lives within us. And let me explain. So the piece of that is like, okay, so if I see somebody and then they have something that I want, right, or that I'm going towards or would like, basically the piece of that is that I have a belief that there's not enough, right? That there's not enough success to go around, that there's not enough, fill in the blank to go around, right? So it's this recognition. So it's this recognition that, okay, so you've got like criticism, for instance, right? If I'm criticizing someone, deep-seated within that is my drive to pull them down to lift myself up, right? You can't see my hands. So to pull them down, to lift them up, right? And so what's coming forth and the challenge that I want to put out to you guys in this community is to really say that, like, to look at, when you're criticizing somebody, what's the reason behind why you're doing that, right? Are you doing it because you actually really want what they have? Are you doing that because it makes you in some way feel bigger about yourself? Just to really, really look at, okay, it's like, why am I criticizing this person? Because deep-seated behind that need to criticize is this belief, this deep-seated belief that there isn't enough to go around. Just think about that, right? Because you wouldn't feel the need to, it's like if we go into the theory and, in the belief and the energy of collective oneness, right? That we're all one, really. Like if you go and the best way to just explain this is basically, you know, you're in your physical body, right? And that's created our separation, right? That's created our, you know, our belief that we're different or we're separate. But when you're not in your physical body and you're just in an energy state, which is before you come down into your physical body, you're in that energy state, you're in that being an infinite being, you're in the expansiveness, you're in the oneness. That's the truth of who we are, right? You're pulled out of the illusion. And we come down in our physical body to step into this illusion, to keep rising higher, to move our energies higher, to move back in, as you know, one piece of it is to move back into that oneness and move back into the state of loving all, right? And so it's just really, really important that when you're feeling the need to criticize, when you're feeling the need to put someone down, when you're feeling the need to compete, that you actually, first of all, like, take some deep breaths, right? Because it's like, oh my gosh, why am I doing this? Why am I choosing this right now? And noticing that, right? Because it's just really, really important. It's really, really crucial to do that. And then really, really looking at, okay, so I'm going to take some deep breaths and just noticing, like, is this my belief that there's not enough to go around in the world? Right? And it's a hugely common belief, right? And we kind of get trained, like, you know, I know when I was growing up, one of the patterns for me was criticism equaled love, right? You know, like my family, I'd be around my family and you know, my grandma, I love her. She, bless her heart. She's, you know, she's back in energy. But when she was in her physical body, she would, you know, I'd walk in the door and she'd be like, you didn't comb your hair, or she would say something, right? And it was all based out of love, right? It was all based out of, out of love and out of just that awareness of, like, okay, like, I care about this person. I want her to look her best. But just noticing, like, okay, you know, what is driving you? What motivates you to put someone else down? And I'll use an example that happened to me this week, right? So for those of you guys who haven't actually tuned into Truth Talk Radio or haven't had a chance to just experience a quick clearing from me, right? I do super quick energy clearings. Like, they're lightning speed. And I think many of us have been trained that change has to take a long time. And while we're going to be forever growing and rising and moving our vibration higher and higher and higher, one of my specialties is to help someone change, like, super quick, right? So something can change, like, so quickly, right? And, you know, there's the piece of that it changes really quick, and it's the work over time, right? So it's you know, you can do one session with me and we're going to quickly change that, but it's the work over time that helps you to stay in that joy no matter what's occurring, right? That helps you to feel lighter and lighter and lighter and lighter, and just to stay in that calm, stay in that state of peace, to be that light, you know, that the world so needs right now. And so, you know, I did this, I'm in this networking group, and, you know, at different points in the group, we each get an opportunity to do a 6-minute presentation. And for me, the best way for someone to get a feel for what it is that I do and what is energy clearing is just to do it, right? So, you know, but I have a choice to make, right? Because it's like, it's only 6 minutes, right? So, and I've learned, and the being that I came here to be in the world is actually to help people realize that change doesn't have to be, you know, doesn't have to take months and months of therapy. I mean, many people have told me through our work together that, you know, just a few months with me has been more life-changing than several years of therapy. I mean, I've even had one person say, you know, that one session with me has been more powerful than 10 years of therapy. And so, you know, that's what I came here to help people do. And I came here to help people change super, super quickly. So I do this clearing in our group, and it was awesome, right? I'm, you know, like, part of why I'm always talking fast, I'm really always tuned into the energy, right? And in the energy state, when you're not in your physical body, things are happening so quickly, right? Things are moving so quickly. And so as I clear out the things that kind of keep me, I would say, attached to this world, or keep me kind of down, and as I move up into higher energy states, well, I've always spoken fast, okay? I've probably always had that memory of the energy state, right? But people have always told me that I speak really fast. And part of that, if you tune into even how I'm communicating now, right? I'm speaking really fast, but it is like there's a lot of energy flowing through as I'm sharing my my learnings and my teachings, right? And so, like, for the longest time, I would make myself wrong for speaking that fast, right? I'd make myself wrong for like moving that quickly, right? And so, and when I'm learning, so let me share this, and then I'll share what I'm learning from that. So I did this quick energy clearing. And some people, like if you've been doing energy clearing or been doing energy work for a while, or just have been working on yourself for a while, you're like, holy crap, that was powerful, right? Oh, I feel lighter. You can tune into what you feel really quickly. But then there's some people who haven't done as much work on themselves, and neither one is right or wrong, okay? So this is like, there's no criticism here. But some people who haven't done as much work on themselves are like, oh my God, hello, please say hello if you join the call. We're just talking about like competition and judgment and scarcity and how it all relates to everything. So in any case, I do this clearing, and like I had someone approach me after the clearing, right? And like I said, I spoke really fast, and a lot of times why I'm speaking fast is I'm channeling, right? So I'm channeling from another dimension, and I'm pulling that dimension down into this dimension so that we can go higher and lighter very quickly, right? So there's a set intent with it, right? And when I'm channeling, it's like I am trying to pull you into something that's so you can move lighter and higher. So somebody came up to me after the clearing, and they started to criticize me, right? And how would you handle this? Just like stop and think. Like if you're putting your heart, your work out into the world, and how would you handle if someone came up to you after you put your heart, your love, your passion out into the world, and they criticized you? And so I'm standing there, and I'm hearing this voice in my head, that's basically saying as she's like, is this woman's criticizing me after I shared my work? That like, I'm like, I never asked her for this. Like, that's what I'm thinking, right? Like like, I don't believe I ever like went up to her and said, how was that for you? So, and like, I appreciate what she was sharing, right? So it was just kind of like, I'm hearing this voice and I'm listening to what she's saying. And, as I stopped and thought about it and processed it after the fact, right? And I want to share this with you because it was like just a huge gift, right? We can even look at criticism as a huge gift in our life. And I always look at, like when I get, criticized for something, I look at, okay, what is this helping to show me? Is this helping to show me something that lives within me? Is this helping to show me like how to just stand in my truth, even though this person has this opinion about my work? What is this helping to show me? And so I looked, so she's like talking to me about how fast I was going, right? And I said to her, my speed is very intentional because I am channeling other dimensions, and in other dimensions, as many of you guys know, time and space doesn't exist, right? As we all know, on some deep-seated level. So after I leave the event, I have time to sit with this. And I'm a human, right? I'm like, like when people say things about my work, I definitely take it to heart. I try not to take it personally, but it can hurt my feelings. Like I want everyone, first of all, I want everyone to move into more light. I want everyone to have like this amazing, delicious, yummy experience when they experience my work. And so, first of all, I used that criticism to clear out the pieces in me that couldn't just see that it was like her truth, right? That it wasn't mine, that it was her truth. And one thing that I want that came up for me is that when we get criticized, when you're getting criticized about something, I want you to take a look at it and see, is that the gift that you came here to bring to the world? So like if I get criticized about my pace is unique to me, right? The pace that I do these energy clearings is unique to me. And it's the gift that I came here to bring to the world, right? But, people that see it as different or have this expectation as to, she had an expectation as to, oh, this is supposed to be a meditation and I'm supposed to be like relaxed. And I have the expectation like, no, I want you to change really quickly, right? And you're going to feel relaxed too. But many times, the work that I do takes, like if you haven't been doing some energy clearings or some shifting, that work takes some practice, right? And some getting into it and some doing more, more and more of it, so that all of a sudden you're like, oh my God, that's a normal pace for me, right? Or oh my God, I just feel so relaxed because I can move out of my mind. Like a piece of what her experience was she's hanging out in her mind. And I'm trying to take you into the energy, right? I'm trying to take you back into your heart, because your heart is where the magic happens, right? It's where all the miracles and all the juice happens. And so, so she said that to me. And so I was like, okay, like I had a friend point out to me, she's like, your gift is your pacing. Like you have to let go of anywhere where, you want to criticize yourself for how fast you're going, or where someone wants to come up to you and say, slow down, right? Because you came here to help people to realize that they can move that quickly, right? That they can shift that quickly. So bless one of someone else in the group's heart sends me a text that night, and the text was something to the fact of like, because we did a 4-minute clearing, okay? So she was like, I didn't think it worked, and she's like, I spent my whole day, I was like in peace, I was in calm, like in my job, I was so centered, and she's like, I know that was a result of the work that we did in the clearing. That was those 4 minutes, taking those 4 minutes and moving, people higher, lighter. And so that was really, really sweet, right? But the other piece about the criticism in this woman talking to me was for me to realize, like, that's her truth, right? When we criticize, what we criticize says more, it says more about us. It says more about the person who is criticizing than it does about the person being criticized. So I want to say that again, because it's really, really important. When you're either receiving criticism or you're giving criticism, and especially when it's unasked, when we are criticizing, what we are criticizing about says more about us as we are criticizing than it does about the person we're criticizing. And so had I been more practiced with that, right? Because most people come up to me and be like, oh my God, it's like amazing, right? But had I been more practiced with like, oh gosh, like, how do I respond? And how can I respond from love? Because this woman, I don't know that she was really like deeply realizing that, but she has that model of criticism equals love. So, in essence, she was trying to be helpful, but it was from an unsolicited place. And it was from a place of, basically, the energy of it was from her own lessness, like, for the lack of a better way to, I don't have the exact word for it, right? But from feeling less than, right? So that was where the criticism was coming from. And so, moving forward, it was awesome, right? Because, part of that lessonness is not a word, but I don't have the right word right now. So part of that less than feeling, right, is, I had communicated a couple of successes that are going on in my business and in my life, right? And many times, like, I get it, right? It's like many times, when someone is moving into a place where you aren't yet, we have a tendency where, like, I'm gonna knock them down. I'm gonna, show them. So I believe that, she was trying to come from a place of helping. But what she was saying was definitely more about her. And had I had the experience to sort of respond positively to that, it would have been to say to her, where in your life do you have this model of criticism equals love? Where in your life, like, what I'm getting right now is it feels like, what you're communicating. Hey, Mary, how are you? Thanks for joining. So where in your life, it feels like you're communicating from a place of feeling that you have to knock me down to move higher, right? And so it's like I could have brought that awareness to her to help her, right? So that, she doesn't feel the need to respond that way, and to help her see herself more clearly, and to realize that her need to give me feedback was more about her than it was about me. And so, that's one thing I want to really say. It's like, when we're getting feedback. So Mary, I was just talking about this story where I got some negative feedback. Hello. I got some negative feedback about a quick energy clearing that I did. And so several learnings from that, right? One of them is that when we're getting negative feedback especially about our work, that may be your gift, right? I was saying that I speak fast. And so when I speak fast, that is actually my gift, because I'm here to help people change like super quick, right? I'm here to help them move lifetimes of content. This was a 4-minute energy clearing, but I'm here to help them shift and move lifetimes of content in a very short and a very quick period of time. And so that was one. So it's like looking at criticism that way, and then realizing it's more about them than it is about you. And also realizing, criticism comes from a scarcity mentality. It comes from a need to bring someone else down to make yourself feel better or higher. It comes from a lack mentality. So the other thing I want to say and I want to talk about is jealousy, right? Because again, we're wired, it's part of that, that less than, better than mentality to think, oh, wait, like I'm jealous of like that person having that. And I want to say to you, what if jealousy in your life is actually just a way to show you what you're desiring? So many of you guys may have seen I'm interviewing Hay House author Rebecca Campbell on my Truth Talk radio show on transformationtalkradio.com on Wednesday. But, in her book, she talks about this jealousy, right? And how jealousy is just a sign for us to see what we're really desiring and where our soul is calling us, right? So whether it's jealousy in your business, which is really, really great information, right? Because it's like, oh my God, I want that too. Okay, well, tune into what that desire is and allow that jealousy to fuel you. To fuel you. That's awesome. Allow that jealousy to drive you, right? And so there's that piece of it. And like, if you're like, oh my God, that person has this amazing love relationship, again, allow that jealousy to guide you. Allow that jealousy to move you forward, to fuel you and to take those steps necessary to really pull you further. Right? So it's a complete reframe on how we look at jealousy. It's a complete reframe on how we look at competition and how we look at criticism in our life. Because the truth of the matter is that, first of all, there's enough for everybody. And I want to say that again because I think it's just so important that we internalize that. There is enough success, love, abundance, clients, like whatever that looks like for you, for every single person on this planet. Like there's more than enough, right? And so it's about how do we shift our experience? Like when someone is sharing their success, one of the tools I've talked about this, and I got this from one of my teachers, but one of the tools I talk about is when you're feeling that competition, right? Saying like, I'll have that. Instead of saying like knocking them down or feeling the need to like push them down, stuff them down, saying, I'll have that. I want that too, right? And so it's a way to step into a more powerful energy, right? A more expansive energy to open to the success and love and abundance that we all deserve, that we all desire, and just to really, really own that, right? So just to look at all of those things. And Mary, if you're still on the live stream and you have any questions, like definitely feel free to type in or whatever comments are coming up for you. And if you're watching this after the live stream is recorded, also put in your comments, put in any questions you have. I come to our group often, and all of the memes and everything that are put up are all written and channeled by me. So just so you know, it's all my energy that's going into this group. It's all my heart that's going into this group. So that's what I want to say to you, right? Is just turn all of this stuff into positive. Turn criticism when someone's criticizing you into seeing what that can show you in your life. Like, what is this meant to help show me? What is this meant to help heal? Where do I show up for people like this, right? Where do I criticize others? And how can I start to shift that? How can I start to expand into the abundance that is all, right? The abundance that many times we're denying in our life, but the abundance that truly is there, that truly is present. So thank you so much for watching. I encourage you, if you can, Rebecca and I had this amazing conversation. So I encourage you to tune into Truth Talk Radio this coming Wednesday, I believe it's January 18th, at 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern. And yeah, just sending so much love. So grateful that you are here. I love you guys all so much. And if I can support you in any way, don't hesitate to reach out. Much love.